If every single time a Black woman does something outlandish, if every single time a Black woman does something that is degenerate or disrespectful, it's the fault of an immigrant woman, then how can that Black woman be held accountable? Or how can the system or the things or the mindset that created that woman be addressed? It won't be. It won't be, and it will continue. Something that I've noticed consistently is every single time I do a video that expresses, shows, reveals really uncomfortable character flaws or uncomfortable challenges that are specifically related to Black American women, it is very common to have someone basically slide into the comment section and then blame all of the ills expressed in that video on immigrants. Happens all the time. Pretty much every single video now, if I'm talking about divesting or if I'm talking about swirling gone wrong or if I'm addressing some self-hating ideas or ideology that are present among Black American women, there's always somebody that's going to come in and say, oh, that's an immigrant. The issue I have with that is if there is an unwillingness to address the impacts of colonization on Black American women today, then the issues associated with that do not get fixed. They're not addressed. They don't change. Quite frankly, some of the reasons you have the Black manosphere.
All this "you're too loyal to Black men" talk that these swillers, divestors, and expand your option after Black women. Yeah, no, it's not that you're too loyal. You don't got a choice. Dear women of color, y'all exposed, man. Miss me with the colonialism, what it did to the minds of women of color and Black men and da-da-da-da-da-da. No, what it did to the minds of women of color and that white team chase. What, because y'all work with them and y'all go to school with them, now that, oh, y'all thought proximity was gonna fix anti-Blackness and racism. Yeah, about that. How's that been working for Black women? I don't know, over the past 50 some odd years since the repeal of Loathing versus Virginia. Since the repeal of the miscegenation laws, which I thought it was proximity. How many Black women are in the suburbs around white folks? Has that changed the marriage numbers one iota? No.
You have spaces online where Black men are getting together expressing their challenges, or you have spaces where Black women feel like they can't get along with Black men, and a lot of the different gender wars you see being promoted online, a lot of that is the impact of unresolved trauma, slavery, from Jim Crow, from decades upon decades upon decades of systematic racism, and essentially, existing in a societies that said you are a second-class citizen, you are not fully a human. Like, there are actual long-lasting psychological impacts of that.
White man has brainwashed the so-called Negro to the point of believing in white supremacy so much that today some Negroes think that they're not making progress or they don't have anything unless they're living in a white neighborhood, unless they have the white man's neighborhood, a seat in the white man's school, or a position on the white man's job. The same thing that the white man has done for himself and his kind. If our people could if we could be cured of our slave mentality that was indoctrinated into us during slavery, we would realize that just as the white man can do these things for himself and his kind, we can get together in unity and harmony and do the same thing for ourselves and our kind.
And so my challenge is, if the narrative is Black Americans in all of their experience are a lot better off, they've never had self-hatred, the Black women never have self-hatred, they never go against their men, they, that only exists in Africa or that only exists in the Caribbean or whatever. If that's a narrative that we have to present to ourselves or whatever, then how does any of the issues that actually impact us ever get addressed? If every single time a Black woman does something outlandish, if every single time a Black woman does something that is degenerate or disrespectful, it's the fault of an immigrant woman, then how can that Black woman be held accountable? Or how can the system or the things or the mindset that created that woman be addressed? It won't be. It won't be, and it will continue. So I want you guys to see how destructive these little things can be, right? I know in an effort some people have to want to try to delineate or to try to say, I'm this, I'm not that, or I'm better than this, or I'm not that, or whatever, right? I know some people, they don't want to identify with Pookies, fine. They don't want to identify with African for whatever reason. They want to identify whatever. I understand people are always trying to find ways to distinguish themselves and show themselves as better than another group. That's human nature. But the inability to call a spade, or the inability to just let something be what it is and to sit with the uncomfortability of a challenge that deeply impacts your own present community is actually what continues to allow these challenges to exist.
Yeah, you were told that these bandits fought during the civil rights movement so that you can have freedom, but I told y'all they did not. Freedom to Black men, and if you look at this historically, if you do the research, freedom to Black men has been tied to access to white women. I want y'all to understand that. And I told y'all the only thing that Black men have actively fought for was access to white women. I maintain that today. I will debate anybody on it. Anybody can step up and try to say that it's not true, and we can get into it, and I'll prove it to you that it is true. One of the ways I'm gonna prove it to you right now is based off of what Black men are doing right now. Now, the whole entire 1965 Civil Rights Bill that Black men take credit for, the whole Civil Rights Bill has been dismissed. This was done, I believe, on day 1 or day 2 of Trump's presidency. Black men have done absolutely nothing.
Can we not make it a habit to assume every single time a Black woman does something offhanded that she is an immigrant, she's an African, she's from the Caribbean? Can we sit with the reality, as hard as it may be, that there are actually Black women in America, Black American women, who do things that are offhanded, that are outlandish, and that need to be addressed? And that, yes, also in the Black community, the impacts of colonization and racism still exist. The dating divide did a beautiful job of teasing this out. And we don't even need a study to see that there is an obvious history of self-hatred that happens. Like, I mean, you don't need to talk to a sociologist. This isn't like cutting edge news. Anybody who's been in America for any length of time has seen it. Whether they've experienced it themselves, whether they've seen it in their family, they've seen it across different generations, like, it's a thing. I just think it's really uncomfortable for some of us to sit with that, because the reality is, if you have to accept that, then you have to deal with why, and then you have to deal with how, and then you actually have to acknowledge how to deal with it. And some people just, quite frankly, they feel overwhelmed. They don't really know how to deal with it. And so it's easy to just deny it. But I'm just letting you know, we don't do that here. Here, I really try to talk about issues that impact us. Not because I believe that Black women are horrible, not because I believe that Black American women are all these self-hating things. No, I believe that we are beautifully made. God made us beautiful. There's so much potential in every single human. There's so much potential in every single Black woman if they are willing and desire to live up to it. And so this is why I actually like to talk about these things, because I actually believe in the potential and the capacity of who Black women can be in America, across the diaspora. But I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you. And I think it's important for us to just stop denying what is actually going on. Anyways, those are my thoughts. What do you think? Do you agree or disagree? Let me know. Leave your questions, comments, concerns in the comment section below. Thank you so much for listening if you've gotten this far, and we'll talk later. Bye.
I'm really excited to announce my new kids book, Aisha Learns to Love Her Hair. Aisha's hair is stunning, but she struggles to see its beauty. Through encouragement and wisdom from Grandma Lily, Aisha learns powerful lessons about self-acceptance. Aisha's journey is a heartwarming tale of family, culture, and confidence. Share her magical journey with your little loved one today, available for purchase.